Hello, everyone. I have another awesome quality video for my audience. So let's get into this. So, this story took place, I'm gonna say, probably 14, 15 years ago. Okay. So, at one time, we used to live in a apartment building as little kids, me and my sibling. We used to live in an apartment building. The apartment building wasn't very big, it was kind of small, but I guess it worked because there was only three of us in the family at the time. It was only my parent, me, and my sibling. So there was one year in Christmas that me and my sibling were very happy because we ended up getting a remote control car. We both got one. And, we were excited, as little kids, jumping around all excited. So in our apartment building, you know, through the day we would drive remote control cars through because there's no cars, there's no nothing. Everyone is at work or somewhere else. So through the day, it's not very packed driveway. It's like very empty. And the coolest thing with these remote control cars is that there was ramps and different tricks we can do. So me and my sibling used to have a contest on ramps and stuff, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever. We'd rank it like we'd go 1 to 10. Some I would do not as good. Some he wouldn't do as good, and then some he would. Like some of the tricks he does. And I guess the coolest thing is with these remote control cars, there was features on them, so it was really, really, really cool. It was really awesome. So pretty much every day we would go out and drive remote control cars. It's cool. Sometimes we used to make videos on them, like we used to record all our tricks and stuff. We didn't really do anything with the videos. We didn't upload them or anything. We just kept them for like memories and stuff, you know, look at all the sick tricks I can do and stuff with my remote control car, stuff like that. So it was pretty cool that way. Um, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then eventually we got more and then the next year around Christmas, when Christmas came around another year, everything was good, everything was smooth. It was a normal casual year, as a little kid. you know have to go to school, through the day, and then after school we might get like a half an hour to, play the remote control cars if we're lucky, or it might be a weekend thing depending. But normally, we'd walk home from school with our parent, and we'd come home, and then normally we'd get home, and if we had homework or anything, we'd have to do that. And then pretty much around 5 o'clock supper we'd be ready. The next it's 6, and then 7. And normally around 7, 8 o'clock it gets dark, sometimes earlier, depending. So we wouldn't be outside that long. We would have to wait until tomorrow. And if we were lucky, maybe we would pretty much eat supper and then go out for like an hour or two. And then after that, we'd have to come in because it starts to get dark and stuff, and you have to get ready for school the next day. We have to wake up early. We had to wake up early for school. But that was one thing we looked forward to, me and my sibling, is playing with remote control cars. But the next year around Christmas time, we end up getting more ramps and stuff. We thought it was the coolest thing ever. It looked like a ramp. It looked like a remote control ramp world or something. It was really cool. We played around with the remote control car. We were happy, this and that. And then we were talking about maybe getting gas cars, but you know, sometimes parents can't afford it, so we didn't end up getting gas cars, but we were still happy with what we got. It was pretty cool, you know. It's pretty cool. And we did it for the longest period of time. We end up playing with our remote control cars. Nobody said anything, nobody had a problem with it, like that. And then all of a sudden, the landlord had a problem with it for some reason, you know. And my parents kind of talked to the landlord and said, "What's the issue with my kids playing? They're not hurting anyone. There's nobody there. Everyone's at work. The driveway is, nobody's there. If there was cars coming, our kids would pick up their stuff, stuff like that." And the landlord, for some reason, was against it. Well, our parents told us not to listen to the landlord. There's no reason why. The landlord couldn't give an answer, so our parents told us we can still do it. Just be careful and don't listen to the landlord. We were like, okay, we thought it was the coolest thing ever. We were like, okay, and we still did it. Nobody really said anything. Sometimes you'd see the landlord, sometimes you wouldn't. And when the landlord comes around, normally we'd ignore her or just avoided her, much as cost. So we did that for the longest period of time. Well, of course, we got away with it for so long until one day we were just playing with remote control cars, and some I think the landlord had it planned, but basically the landlord ended up kicking our car, ended up breaking my sibling's car. My sibling was upset, ended up kicking my car, and then a car came zooming in and driving all over it. So it was like a broken car. You couldn't even use it. I was very upset. I went in, told my parent, and my parent wasn't very happy to the landlord. I'll just tell you that was a night of a fight. Uh, you know, because my parents were like, there was nothing wrong with the kids, playing and having a good time. They're not hurting. There's nothing wrong with that. There was no reason for you to kick their stuff, wreck it, and then so it was a very upsetting time. Plus, my parents spent a little bit of, well, they obviously spent a bit of money on remote control cars. Even though then they might have been cheaper, but still they worked their gooses off just to get us to have a good Christmas with all the remote control stuff and the ramps and stuff. And somebody's gonna come over and wreck it. Yeah, of course the parents are gonna be upset, and you know, well, end up happening. And what really came out of it is the landlord didn't really do anything because she didn't really care. She was kind of getting off on the fact that we weren't having fun anymore and we weren't playing on. I guess we didn't. We pretty much for a couple more months we didn't really do anything. We were upset, because our car's broken. My parent was upset, and my mom and the landlord had it out, but nothing came out of it. And then pretty much the last time I checked after that, my parent kind of had enough and said, you know what, I'm getting out of here. And we pretty much moved somewhere else. And that was pretty much it. And then, we moved to somewhere else, somewhere better, I guess we say. And there was no problems there. It was pretty good. But thank you for everyone for listening to my story. I hope everyone can relate to it in some sort of way. I try to make high quality videos every day for everyone on YouTube to enjoy. Thank you, everyone. I will see you tomorrow with another awesome quality video. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a good day. I will see you tomorrow with another awesome quality video. Goodbye, everyone.